Forest taken care of by Pencils. Moon Queen, Keeper of the Forest from FYKU. So Keeper of the Forest overlapping after not even being blind banded or locked the last game. That actually is really interesting to me. But no Monkey King ban here.
I mean, you know, Monkey King, I guess you could always ban him later. I mean, they could be locked, I suppose, but they felt like they handled them last time, so, I mean, no need to say you can't do it again.
Yeah.
Of course, it's always great. I mean, I don't see that often either when you see two of the same hero banned, but once again, Keeper of the Forest banned twice by each team, which isn't a surprise. Very much like Wild Soul, he does a great job in the Suicide lane, and he brings a lot to the table. So, even though this time we do see a Tempest lockpick, so we're going back to that jungle type strat. You know, probably we still see a lot of heroes available with Ophelia and Parasite, so see what else they lock.
Yeah, as you know, you're referring to, of course, the first game where there was no jungles locked in the lock pool, which was very, very rare going into that. So, but now following it up from Pencil's side, they're going to think about their next couple of locks, you know, whether or not we'll spawn with the jungle themselves. Here, it looks like they are. They throw a Parasite in there, as well as a Luna coming out, of course, and now the final one over here from FYKU, and then into the banning stage we go. So, you know, if he's not going to be blind banned, then you do got to wonder if maybe going to be regular banned here. Again, focusing on that Monkey King. That Pewee has proven to play great, not only in the last game, but in the past. We'll see if Pablo McDad is ultimately worried about that. I do got an update on Dat Putty Tat. I know a lot of people are putting it out there that it is Trouf. I did get more and more confirmation that it looks like it actually is Trouf. So just to clarify that for people that are wondering, you know, again, I don't know what this ultimately means. Obviously, he's playing on a sub account, so whether he really doesn't want people to know, or maybe that's just, you know, him having simply ringing for them. I don't know. I personally don't know. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I do know that Relo is a great player, and to see him replacing a player like Relo, I would find actually be pretty surprising, to be honest. Especially seems like it has worked out for Pencils pretty well. But Trouf is a damn good player himself, so maybe. All right, I'm gonna go have to chat disconnect right here. So I do apologize for that. Anyways. Let me actually, God, I can't even clear it. Anywho, there we go. All right, into the banning stage, and I actually had to clear my chat, so I'm guessing, though, so it was Ophelia and Jereziah so far. That's the two bans.
Yeah, those have been the first two bans. Obviously, we still have more to go, but we do have an interesting lock pool in that an Artesia was locked in, which, of course, might have been another throwaway lock as it was the last one, but it is a very powerful bursty type hero, and if you look at the pool we already have Fade, we have Pebbles. I mean, Artesia kind of fits right in there with them, as maybe less of the initiation factor, but she does bring a ton of burst to the table.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely, you know, with that lock pool especially, it's probably more of a throwaway, unfortunately. It is always fun to kind of hype those up, kind of like the Martyr last game of, man, what if we saw this hero? You know, let's talk about his benefits. But then in the end, it's like, but really, that was just a random hero that the team clicked and didn't really care for. So, but you are right. I mean, I do agree with you. The burst potential is by all means there. But yeah, especially with that Pebbles and Faye, you know, going with one or the other, or hell, even both, as we've seen, could definitely work out to an extent. So, kind of moving along in the banning phase, though. Bubbles response from Pablo McDad. Now, back over here to VN Sensation. Going to go with that Zephyr ban. So, not going to see him again. Good old Zephyr.
Not too surprised by that. Zephyr did play well last game. He did what he needed to do, and especially if it is Trouf, since I know people out there, this guy's talking about Trouf, but, you know, he did play well, and no doubt that's a worthy ban right there.
Engineer going to be the final ban for Pablo, so no Monkey King either. Again, if not blind ban, I'm very curious if on the regular banning phase they would address that, but not going to go with that. So we'll see now if FYKU may look to take advantage of that and pick up the Monkey King themselves. But first, they're going to have to go with their final ban here before we move along. You know, we see several right clicks on Berserker over there. I've said it ever since he became eligible, and I'll keep saying it. I really still want to see Berserker. We've only seen him one game that I remember seeing him, and his team lost, but he himself did crazy damage, and it was a lot of fun to watch. So, boy, would it be
tanky. Cool. I mean, he is a hard carry. He will carry hard. I mean, the only downside is actually what I've noticed about him. his big gap closer, aside from Mark for Death, which does help close the gap, is Chain Spike. And in the game we see nowadays, where we see Silhouette and Draconis constantly pick up Nullstones, it's really hard for him to, he has to sacrifice one of his gap closing skills in order to get up to him. But I still think he's potentially viable, so maybe we will.
That's true. Master of Arms going to be banned up here. We actually, it seems like Master of Arms is always locked nowadays, or even just picked up in the regular picking stage, but going to be banned up here by VN Sensation, as we just have seen the dominance of that hero lately on the competitive scene in many aspects. Again, that's what helps him being so powerful, is the diversity that he brings to the table. So, but yeah, now they're starting to right-click those Monkey Kings there. So again, that could be very possible. He did play very well, as expected. But Pablo McDaggett, I think at the first pick, it's going to be Pharaoh actually coming out. Not a hero we see first picked all too often, but nonetheless, still a pretty powerful hero indeed. So, Tundra's actually open too. He's not open too often, but
already Pharah and Tundra both open. Both offer some kind of map control, so I wouldn't be shocked if we actually saw Tundra picked up here. We already see Monkey King right-click those, so I'm interested if they go with him again. But I'm obviously thinking about, I think, settle with Draconis and Glacius. So, very solid picks. Nothing wrong with them. We all know what happens when a dragon gets his farm. People melt. It gets bad.
It gets pretty damn ugly. So, although I will say, he kind of seems like he has tapered off a little bit. Now, maybe that has been because he is banned more so than not, but still, seems like his activity has actually tapered off a little bit on the competitive scene, as far as being played. But yeah, Draconis on top of the Glacius, maybe setting up for also the possibility of not only, strong, perhaps like a Glacius Fade lane or something like that, but also against a Parasite, it can be pretty solid. So, back over to Pencils, though, after that Pharaoh first pick. Now, they could go with the carry route themselves, and sure enough are. Silhouette and then Torturer actually going to be their final pick. Something that's probably going to be a support Torture, to be honest, how it's shaping up, but nothing wrong with that.
I feel like, it might not be, but if you look at the lane split, we're going to have our Silhouette probably in either a short lane situation again, or maybe with like a support protecting her. But you also have the Pharaoh, which with a Plague Rider pickup, Plague Rider will probably go to, a suicide lane as well, because he's very powerful in it. But, Pharaoh can hold his own against Plague Rider if needed. So, yeah, I'll probably be a support Torturer, but they could still decide if they wanted to lane, they do have a jungler pickup still, and, both Tempest and, what's his name? Parasite, yeah that guy. He's available. So, but, they could also decide, just let them have their pick and pick accordingly to that. But they do decide to go with Parasite, so I would kind of guess a Tempest pick would come out here, but maybe they'll try something different.
No, yeah, the Tempest just seems like it is pretty obvious. And it's either the Fate or the Pebbles, really, is what it comes down to here. In terms of how which one they value more. Fate is going to be the ultimate pick. She definitely has her benefits over Pebbles, just like vice versa, of course. But Fate, I think, just gives you a little bit more map presence in the end, of course, with that ultimate of hers. And not as carry potential, sure, but still, you have a Draconis to take care of that, so they're not really worried. Pencils, though, that will allow them and open them up to get Pebbles. Again, they were probably going to just take the other one, whichever one they were given. So, yeah, both teams, once again, having those strong lineups here on either side. And, when it comes to the laning phase, as we like to start with, it's... I'm kind of curious if Pencils is going to try something crazier or go that pseudo-aggressive trial lane. Something like that Parasite up there with the Torture of Pebbles top, perhaps.
Yeah, they can. They have a lot of options, because Parasite, being Parasite, is able to either harass the enemy jungler. He can move around a lot. Especially being on Legion side, it is fairly simple to, go into the Hellborn jungle, and if it's not warded, just come down to mid lane and deal a lot of damage there. So we see right now the Parasite goes, boots first. I always love seeing that. Mana pot. So he plans on playing aggressive. And then a Torturer and Pebbles is kind of heading mid, which is a very powerful combo. Obviously, you don't have that setup stun, but, Pebbles stun and Torturers, neither are too difficult to land in a laning situation. So it's going to be really hard with, a few levels on Pebbles for what looks like, we don't know exactly yet, but they're trying to stop the Pharaoh from getting the ward off, and Fade is going to see, and they're going to hit him.
Yeah, Burning Shadows coming out right here, and Pablo McDam might actually be in a lot of trouble. He runs right into Glacius, actually. Free's going to be on top of that. Will we see anything happen from Tempest? Maybe he doesn't go the stun. It won't matter, though. Dragon Flame comes out at the last second, and Pue will get credit playing that Draconis for the Bloodlust kill. That worked out beautifully there for FYKU. So he did get off the ward of sight, but in the end, obviously sacrificing his life to do so. I think the most important thing, though, again, the fact that went in favor of Draconis right there. Not good news for Pharaoh. So, yeah, Tempest also, the fact that he didn't have to level up his stun either was also a pretty big deal when you think about it, because if he did, then I would have screwed up his jungle land, of course. So.
I mean, I was going to see that, but I think most pro players at this point realize, like, you can do that, but it's so hard to, it slows you down so much more that it wasn't even worth it to get the kill at that point. So, you know, it makes sense. They were able to snag a kill. They knew Glacius was nearby, so well played by them. And that's a great start for them.
Yeah, the fact that everyone basically got the assist as well, if not the kill, other than Plague Rider, of course, just, again, great news all around for the Hellborn team. And you do see Draconis. He actually was able to get his Ring of the Teacher finished as a result of that too, going into the laning phase with the 4 minor totems and the regen. So that's Draconis just even got that much more powerful, and that means Pharaoh even more so. Granted, he might not have had the best time anyways. It's just he ain't gonna have a good time up here at this top lane. So. We'll see what kind of game he has. I mean, it's not the most aggressive jungler, of course, in Tempest being in there in the jungle next to him, but still, he needs to be at least somewhat weary of that. This middle lane, though, that's the big one for me. I'm sure for you as well. Expect some action. Torture Pebbles versus this Fade Glacius. You have any take on this matchup here? You think any set's favored?
Unless we see some hardcore roaming coming out from, I don't know, like the Tempest maybe to help out. I feel like the advantage has got to go in the favor of Pebbles and Torchwood. They just have so much stun and just damage. And while Fading Glacius can too, Pebbles at least got a little bit of tankiness to him, just being a natural strength hero. And I just feel like if a stun lands on either of them, they're like, even now I feel like, you see them playing back. Glacius knows if he tries to harass, he doesn't think he can handle it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've got to give it in favor of Pebbles and Torture. If they play it right, they can probably snag themselves some kills.
Yeah, very, very squishy indeed. So Glacius knows that, as you talked about. VN Sensation just playing very passive, not trying to set up something. Something interesting to note here is that, remember, actually complete kind of role changes here. I mean, VN Sensation, he was the Ophelia last game, this time playing the Ward Bitch support Glacius. You have Pue, of course, playing the Monkey King last game, who in a sense it kind of was the carry, let's be honest, but this time playing the hard carry in Draconis. And then Guifix actually stepping up on the Fade here, as he was the Bubbles last time around. So kind of just a lot of things changing. As Relo My Bitch as well. I mean, he's playing Suicide. He was the Ward Bitch support last game. So really, all these roles kind of changing around here for FYKU. It's always interesting to see that coming out from teams, especially like this one, who again, it seems like they are still kind of trying to work out their kinks and whatnot as far as being a newer team, but nonetheless still pretty damn skilled, as we definitely saw the last game. So, but so far in the middle lane, I mean, it really is just coming down to, it seems like Pebbles is having a pretty good time. 15 now, 16-2, compared to a Fade who's only 11-0. So Fade definitely getting boxed out in that sense. And
we might see some aggression here real soon, though, because there's a Wild Hunter Parasite on the loose, and he's stealthing up, and he's running toward mid, so let's see if something happens here.
Yep, he's going to be running in, and actually Fade will definitely need to be careful if that's the case, and here we go. There's the opening on a Glacius, actually Stalagmites will connect. What a Burning Shadow stun to go from Fade. He's going to call on top of that. Chain reactions, however, will connect, but it's just not going to be enough. Or will. Yes, it will. The chuck from Pebbles. Actually, I don't even know if that was necessary. Bassett gets credit for the kill on Torture, so took a little bit longer than expected, perhaps, but nonetheless, they get the kill, as Fade did land a good Burning Shadows, but still wasn't enough to hold it off. The Wild Hunter Parasite, man, it's just too powerful.
So that was actually a pretty, I don't think they could have played that any different. There's not, unless they for some reason were like, let's buy a Ward of Revelation to make sure that a Parasite Wild Hunter doesn't gank us. Actually, they were diving in on top of the Fade, and they're going to score the kill, I think.
Yep.
And they got the Burning Shadows off, but Pebbles will be fine, and that's going to be huge. That's going to put them in such a big advantage here for this mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, how about Torture's build, too? Going that level 2 Impalement first, and is now just a 2-2 build, not even touching the Agonizing Bonds. I find that kind of interesting, but at the same time, it's definitely proved to be effective for him. as the Impalement has done a lot of work here in the middle lane, and as a result, you know, he is 1-0-1 as he bottles up the Invis Room for Pebbles right there. But yeah, things are coming together pretty nicely here for Pencils in that middle lane. Two things I wanted to point out real quickly here, as you do see we got Silhouette down here, 17-10 compared to a 6-12 Plague Rider, so safe to say Silhouette having the better time, despite Plague Rider. Again, the lane control's an issue, but nonetheless. Ooh, top lane actually. Torture using the Invis. He's going to be coming up here to the top lane. Dracona's in trouble. Pharaoh doesn't have a whole lot of mana, though. In fact, just using the Tormented Soul a little bit ago, and actually Draconis will be fine, so yeah, if Pharaoh had a little bit more mana, maybe, but...
Oh, definitely, because the Impalement there did a lot of damage. There weren't too many creeps for the damage to be spread to. And it's actually Plague Rider down bottom. Parasite is coming in the game. Silhouette will snag a kill there, so no doubt expediting his farm. But, yeah, no, I mean, as actually now Pharaoh is getting gone on by the Tempest, and he's going to drop, so... Yep. And there you go.
There's and the counter kill.
Because of that entire time while Torture was gone, Fade and Glacius, of course, realized it. So Pebble CS, you know, he wasn't able to really snag too much there.
Yeah, and actually something else I wanted to bring up too was, speaking of Draconis, okay, I guess maybe it was just a misclick. I saw him purchase a Helm with a Victim initially, and I was like, holy crap, he's going something completely different, going Whispering Helm on Draconis first. We never see that. But never mind, he did actually purchase a Life Tube, and now he's finishing a Steam Boost, so probably going to go in the more of the usual Nullstone build here. But speaking of Draconis, man, I mean, pushing the top lane, of course, with the assistance of Tempest. Not going to be enough damage to kill the tower by any means, but applying a lot of damage. Pharaoh does port up here, though, and he is ready to hold it off. As Pebbles, though, he is no doubt the shining star here for Pencils, but, I mean, Draconis is nearly 400 gold per minute right now. Again, he did get that very early Bloodlust kill, so maybe a little bit skewed, but actually, Haster going to be picked up by Tempest up here, and there's a Tempest Ultimate, going to pull them in, Fade on top of the Gold Sun, there's the Burning Shadow Sun on top. Will it ultimately be enough damage? That's a question. Tempest on the run, he gets chucked down, though. Tempest will fall, now Fade's the one that needs to be careful, perhaps, although he is diving in. Burning Shadows in 2 seconds. Is it going to be enough? Oh, the Coal missing. Actually, he went for the Coal instead of the Burning Shadows. And down goes Fade. And now Glacius on the run. He's going to be gone by Parasite. That Facelock on top of the leech. 2 more auto attacks. 1 more. Yes, Glacius will fall. And, well, it seemed like FYKU had a big chance there, but it worked out perfectly for Pencils in the end.
I mean, what we saw there was the Impalement, for one, did just a lot of damage. But I noticed as soon as Tempest got the ultimate off, I was like, well, that's a good ultimate, but Fade is just now hit level 5, and the Pebbles and Torture were both at like 5 and 5 respectively, I think. So Fade did a lot of stuff, but it wasn't enough to burst down the damage, and that was just the result of the earlier kills that came out. It gave them the level advantage, and had the levels been on Fade there, had they not died earlier, then no doubt I think that would have been a huge play, but instead it was just a complete turnaround.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be brutal. I mean, you even see chat right there. Are you serious? Obviously, you know, anyone would be frustrated right there. The fact that was setting up to be 2 kills possibly for the Hellborn team ended up being 3 of them dying. Tempest, Fade, and Glacius all ended up dying, and they didn't get any kills out of it. So that's got to be frustrating for sure. Now again, you keep going back to you do have a Draconis who is basically free farming up here, but
speaking of that,
what's that?
Pharaoh looks like he's about to
get,
and I don't see him getting out of this either. He's being frozen. He's looking for some way to get out, but the taunt is on him, and, well, he's hiding in the corner, but... no.
He tried.
Yeah.
A for effort, for sure, but not enough in the end for Pablo McDad. But the thing that, okay, as great as Draconis is, look at this Legion team now. Again, it's just kind of hitting me, too, the more I'm looking at it, is that not only do you have a Pebbles, but you have a very aggressive Parasite. You have a Pharaoh, who sure just died again, but... honestly, at this point, just getting the levels on him, which he is level 6, so that's the important mark. And then a Torture is honestly doing pretty well in the support role. He's got a pretty aggressive lineup earlier on. So, again, Draconis, it's great for FYK that he's getting the farm. In fact, absolutely necessary. But you still got to be a little bit worried about Pencil's potential to set up kills and pretty quickly, as they're going to counter push in the middle lane, and I don't think Fade's going to be able to do anything about it. So, kind of a 1-for-1 tower exchange there.
Yeah, I mean, both sides obviously getting a tower kill there, but, you know, another thing I kind of want to go back to that I didn't think about until now was during the drafting phase, we did see the Pharaoh first pick, which leads me to believe they never even intended to pick up the Tempest. And we have to remember, you know, Tempest Ultimate is very powerful, but having that Pharaoh to counter it is kind of equally so. So, I'm interested to see how the later team fights go, but As you said, early gold advantage is in favor, and experience is in favor of the Legion side, but you do have a Draconis, who is the top farmer in the game at about 440 gold per minute, already with a Sustainer and Steam Boots picked up, so he's farming pretty well, and I don't know.
Yeah.
He is always so scary, so scary. Once he turns on his Cataclysmic Assault, it gets scary once he has the items.
It seems like, again, as little as we've been seeing Draconis lately, it also does seem like it hasn't been working out as much as when he first especially came into the scene, where this guy, I mean, his farm would just get 500 gold per minute so early on. He would have the Shrunken and Nullstone right away, it seems like, and he just couldn't stop it. But it seems like a lot more teams, obviously, for one, have just become more comfortable playing against him, because that's just how it happens with experience. But an aggressive lineup against him too. And that's where I want to pose this question to you. What do you think, if should he maybe look to, kind of like last game we talked about with Silhouette, is it possibly going that Shrunken Head earlier on? Might that be the better investment at this rate, or is still the Nullstone route the best route, as Bassett's will actually going to kill the bottom lane? It was just himself apparently. I don't even know if there's it doesn't look like there's an assist down there, but he picks off a Plague Rider, so good job. What do you think, though? Would you like to see a Shrunken Head right away, or is you fine with the Nullstone route?
The difference is, I think this game is, I think they're much better at contending late game. Like, even when we got to late game in the last game, they had the racks down, and they kept having the Token of Life, which really helped them. But here, I do think between, they do have a lot of teamfight potential as the tower's going down bottom. As well as Draconis just being a powerful carry as he is. But despite Silhouette also being very hard of a carry, they do have a lot of team fight, and I think Draconis can hold his own. So it's not as imperative that he gets the early Shrunken Head right away, especially because a Nullstone will still be fairly effective against this Legion team. You have, I guess, Agonize and Bonds, it's not a biggie, but Parasite relies heavily. So, there's a few things, and eventually a Hellflower or Sheepsticks might come out. So, I think I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Shrunken Head immediately picked up after, before he picks up like a Geometer's Bane or something like that, but I don't think it's that as much as a big deal this game if he goes just straight for the Nullstone. As long as he keeps his farm up, he will be able to partake in an early team fight with the Nullstone if needed. But
yeah. Well, yeah, that's where it seems to go. Obviously, you get the Nullstone and the Shrunken Head, and then usually something like a Savage Mace to follow that. That's really the holy trinity that we see a lot in Draconis, as far as being the go-to build for the most part. But yeah, but in the end, so I definitely can see where you're coming from, and I can agree with you. But at the same time, until he gets that Shrunken Head, I mean, even with a Nullstone, you can't expect him to be the most involved in fights, of course. It's really when he gets the Shrunken Head, then he starts to get involved, but still his damage will be lacking a little bit. Obviously, the Savage Mason, and that's why I say the Holy Trinity is where that comes out. Top lane, Pharaoh might be in trouble once again. He's already 0-3. Very possibly could be 0-4 right here. Fade's going to go on. There we go with the opening. Draconis to follow. Tempest is here as well. And Pablo McDad has got to be frustrated. Now his team's also ultimately doing, but he himself is having a hellish time here at the top lane. I mean, remember, he died even before the horn blew, so.
I mean, that's just unfortunate. But they are going to, and now because of that, they're going to push the lane. But you do see a Pebbles kind of chilling mid, but he's right on top of Revelation Ward. So they kind of see this right now. They're just not doing anything, but.
Well, they're almost playing it as if they want them to jump Plague Rider, maybe port in or something like that, but ain't gonna happen. So they do take out the top tower. Does the Hellborn team, a secondary tower that is. Interesting comment right there.
Yeah.
Apparently he's drunk and out. Part of me wonders how much of an excuse he's trying to make himself because he's 0-4 here, 13 minutes into the game. But hey, maybe he's had something to drink. It happens. Oh, Portal Key just purchased on Pebbles, by the way.
I mean, that's gonna be big because now, I mean, Fade just needs levels essentially. But she's a lot more easily counterable if you have like a Revelational Awards, and she's squishy. But now with Pebbles Blink, I mean, I'm looking at their team right now, and all of them, except, I mean, okay, we do have magic armor on a few of them, but I think even Tempest might be able to survive the burst. But I'm pretty sure, and Draconis as well. But even with Fade Magic Armor right now, and Glacius as well, they're both going to die at this moment to full combo with Pebbles. So they have to be scared now. I mean, I don't know if they saw yet. I see them pushing up the lane, so they know. But as another Wild Hunter Parasite is going to sneak up here to the side.
Oh, Plague Rider. You want to make sure not to go too far up right here. Oh, Relo, my bitch. You in trouble? Oh, no, he is going to fall back after the Contagion, so he will be fine. But yeah, need to be very careful. I don't know if Pebbles has actually shown the portal key just yet. He's going to pick up a haste rune right here.
The Lord will pick it up though now, but Draconis is running in, but oh, good Lord, I don't think he was expecting the Parasite, but he's still alive, and he's going to drop. Fade is following up now on the Parasite, and it looks like he will get burst down as well. So great counter kills. Pebbles is just hasting around, not sure what to do, but that'll be the end of that.
Well, yeah, but we did see right there. I mean, Draconis definitely able to tank the burst from Pebbles, but yeah, especially Parasite being there, that really did it in. Again, at least they get a counter kill, but nonetheless, the Legion team definitely happy with at least getting the kill onto Draconis, and obviously now that portal key has been shown here by Pebbles, and Draconis, that will stop him from finishing a nullstone here in the near future, as he did pick up the Blessed Orb, and he died with that, of course, but needs another 1,000 gold for the pattern. Speaking of that, Silhouette is going to be finishing her nullstone here very shortly, but a big thing you notice different is that she didn't actually upgrade her boots first. Again, this we're 95% sure, let's just say, that this is Tralfamador playing this guy, but he is going to be finishing a nullstone, it looks like, before upgrading the boots. Not often we see that, and I am kind of curious if he goes the Ghost Marchers route or if he goes the Steam Boots. Will he go the Noob G route, or will he go Steam Boots here? We'll see, but nullstone before upgrading the boots. What is your take on that, Karcher?
I mean, if your farm is good, and I mean, technically, if you're just farming, I would definitely say the nullstone is going to do more for you than the boots. I mean, he had the basic marcher, so at least he's able to quickly move in between lanes somewhat, and he's not, like, completely sluggish, but, you know, there's not really anything wrong with that. He's still able to move around and fight simply because he's got the tree grapple, if he needed to, and now he has a little extra defense. So I'm with you on this one. I'm kind of curious to see if he goes Steam Boots or Ghost Marcher as well. Draconis is... Okay, he's just farming.
You know what we better see? We better see, no matter what the boots are, and nullstone, we better see a shrunk or a portal key next. We absolutely better see a portal key next, because Tralf has been so adamant about portal key on Silhouette, especially to follow up the nullstone. If he doesn't go it himself, I would find it pretty damn amusing. I'm not gonna lie. So, as I'm sure a lot of people out there would. So that's like one of the, that on top of course, just Shrunken Head in general, are really the two things that he really likes to stress. It looks like it is going to be Steam Boots, by the way, as he does go with Gloves of the Swift right here. So that is going to be his option.
That makes a lot of sense, just because you do have the fade, and you do have a fair amount of burst potential. So just having the extra strength, if you want it, or intellect, you know, it just allows for a lot of things. Slows him down a little bit because you're not getting that extra boost, but Steam Boots are fine. They'll do a lot of work for him.
Portal Key on Parasite, by the way. I don't think we touched on that yet, but
oh, no.
Yeah, he got earlier on Portal Key himself, so that's the double initiation factor coming out there. And he too is also close to level 11, which, of course, will upgrade that face hug quite a bit. So more good news there. Nullstone finished on Draconis now, and he definitely has that. So, of course, you would think that Shrunken Head now next in line. Legion team, they're trying to bait out Pharaoh. They figured he's died 4 times. Why not a 5th time? But the Hellborn team ain't having any of that, so they're going to join him and make a push up here at the top lane, it looks like. Silhouette not with them, but she's busy farming in the jungle, of course. So, but yeah, I honestly can't wait to see Silhouette not go a Portal Key and then just to have chat blow up because of that. But
that would be hilarious. But I do want to comment here on the Portal Key Parasite. I really like it because you already have the Pharaoh with the instant initiation, and you add the Pebbles Portal Key. But now I really enjoy what they're doing, and in fact, I would not be surprised if Tralf, or if it is Tralf, goes for a Portal Key next, because again, it's just going to allow him to blink in alongside Pharaoh and Parasite and Pebbles, and just, if they jump on someone, they're going to drop. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I really like the item picks here, as we do see Silhouette down here pushing this tower and putting a lot of damage into it. So that's something to note. In fact, looking at the tower advantage right now, there's 1 tower down for the Legion side. As
well, she did quite a bit of damage to Fade, actually. She jumped in by herself, but still pushing. No more ports just yet. She has the illusion down here to port to, obviously, if need be. But in fact, there she goes. Okay.
She actually threw out the tree grapple, but I think it was just short of the tree. Otherwise, it might have landed, and he might have gone in.
Yeah.
But because he knew he had that swap up. But yeah, that was interesting. But you know, pretty even game though. Again, I will say both games have actually, golden experience wise, none of them have, until the very end of the last game, have fluctuated to a crazy point. So
Well,
It's exciting.
I think it's to kind of stress the even point you're making is that both teams, again, it is like the Legion team where their strengths are getting those early on portal keys, you know, getting the early on aggression. They've accomplished that with the Pebbles, with the Parasite, and Silhouette is still having a very good time farming as she's nearly 400 gold per minute. On the other side of the spectrum, you have FYKU. I mean, in their sense, they're also not doing too bad either. I mean, they got of course the best farm in the game in Draconis, and on top of that, they got a Tempest who's doing just fine. Who, by the way, passing out the portal key route, going to Ring of Sorcery tablet here. And honestly, it really does seem like we've seen a lot less portal keys lately on Tempest. And I made this point before. Just in general, there just seems like there's so many more games that are just difficult for Tempest Ultimates to get off. And you stress the Pharaoh. I mean, you're also dealing with the Parasite, especially. Obviously, even with the Shrunken Head, I mean, those are two heroes that you still have to worry about. So, but nonetheless, his farm's good. And then a Fade, again, at the very least getting levels. Hopefully for his sake, can be level 11 shortly. But, ooh, interesting right there. I just saw a Quick Blade purchase on Draconis, so he's not going to be going Shrunken Head.
I do. I'm not sure how much I like that, especially when you see, you know, Portal Key Parasite, Portal Key Pebbles. You have the Pharaoh on the other team, and potentially a Portal Key Silhouette. I mean,
see, well, the thing with that is, in my mind, that's a case of even if you have a Shrunken Head, I mean, you said it earlier, there is just so much percentage of the fact. Here we go. In comes the Jumper Parasite out of the Wild Hunter. He's putting on the auto attacks. A good tablet by Tempest, though, and he will survive. So the tablet of command proving to pay off early on here for Tempest, as the jump was really not successful. But again, it kind of goes to the logic of, even with a Shrunken Head, could I even get it off in time for it to matter? Maybe not. And if he goes a Firebrand, well, I would assume that's what it's going to be, of course. That one means basically, one, that he's just going to farm more, and two, just also put out more damage now in the sense of right-click damage here in these team fights. So, but yeah, it's I can see arguments for both ways. I actually can this game.
yeah. I mean, now that you mention that, is actually